Welcome back to our chess story series, and today we're going to take a look at a game from 1951 where we have two Soviet masters by the name of Rashid Nezhmetdinov, the great attacker, who was also Tal's coach, playing Konstantin Klaman, who is also a master but not exactly of the same level. The main thing I want to emphasize and focus on here is the counterattack. Very often, when people are in trouble, they panic. They're like, "Oh no, they're gonna checkmate me! Oh no!" Well, good chess players don't do that. Good chess players are calm, just like in any emergency, and say, "I will stop your attack and get back at you. Let's see how." We start off with the King's Pawn opening, and Black says, "Okay, you want the Vienna? Let's play the Vienna. No problem. If you want the two knights, I'll play the two knights. No problem. If you want to play Vienna Gambit, I'll play d5. No problem." And instead, we have Bishop c4. This move isn't considered very good. It's almost like a normal Vienna, but the difference is we have a little trick. Right away, you're taking knights, or you're taking knights after your bishops, and you're taking your bishop out first. If you take out your knight first, then it could be okay. But because you took out your bishop first, we have a trick. The trick is a fork. Okay. After we give up our knight, we say, "Do you want it?" Because when you get it, for example, knight takes e4, oh, d5, and there's my favorite fork. I get my piece back, you run away from me, I take back my piece, and we're in great shape. This bishop is here for some random reason that he can be easily kicked away. We have the center, he doesn't know where he's going, and white is not doing great. For that reason, most people just avoid knight takes. Most people are scared of going into this. But some people are brave enough to gambit the pawn. And the reason they gambit it is to play something called the Frankenstein Dracula variation. Queen h5. And I don't know who called it Frankenstein Dracula, but it is indeed scary. Because all of a sudden the pawn on e5 is hanging, f7 is hanging, this knight is still hanging, and all kinds of problems arise. So we have to solve all these things all at once. The only good way to do it is knight d6. So Rashid says, "No problem. No problem. I'm just going to defend f7, going to attack your bishop, and you can have my pawn. No problem." But even as you take the pawn, let's say, life becomes very simple for black. Then black can just trade off the queens, and you get nothing. So most people don't want the pawn. Most people say, "Wait, wait, wait, your knight is awkward," says Konstantin. "Your knight is blocking your bishops," plural, because both of them can't come out properly. "Your knight is blocking your center, so you can't steamroll me." And white is doing great because look at all my development and your awkward knight. I should make these guys green because they're good. All right. So then black says, "Okay, I don't see the big problem. I'm just going to castle." And then f7 is not a problem. Later on, my pawn can come here. My knight goes away somewhere. d5 comes in. I start steamrolling, and here come my two rolling stones. And white's like, "Where will they be if I hit them?" So right away, Konstantin is coming for the pawn, coming for f7, is getting ready to castle all at the same time. We get out of the center so we can get started on our dynamite in the middle. If we can blow up the center, then our extra pawn may actually be of value. Okay, and Konstantin says, "Wait, wait, wait, wait. I'm gonna checkmate you." Okay, this is the type of scary move a lot of people panic against. What is this move saying? This move is saying my rook can come in, I can checkmate you here, I can checkmate you there with h7 and the queen coming in, and you can't take my knight, Rashid, because the rook opens up all of a sudden, and you're in big trouble, mister, on g8. And not only that, even f7 is not doing so great because the knight's coming to help. If you ever try to get rid of me, come on, take my knight, take my knight. Bzzz, and then the h file will haunt you for the rest of your life. So with all these attackers, it starts to look a little scary, but black didn't do anything wrong. Rashid knows he didn't do anything wrong, so he can just play normal chess, and there is no reason he'll get checkmated because he just played common sense moves, right? Takes out another knight, make sure the pawn is safe. If you want to take the pawn, then where is your attack? Show me your attack. Come on. I don't see any attack. I see my attack. I don't see your attack. And here comes the counterattack from black. Instead, Konstantin says, fine, I'll checkmate you. I'll get you here and there, and you better stop h7 mate. So we're forced into h6. No question about it. We have to play it. Now, are we going to take the knight? Maybe not right away. Maybe with the bishop. If they do nothing, like let's say they just waste a turn. Okay, now we take with the bishop and queen. Now this is great for us because there is no checkmate. But we're never ever taking with the pawn. Unless we want to get mated on h8, we're not taking there. So in the meantime, Konstantin says, how about I trade off this knight? You know why? Because he's actually useful. He's a useful guard. Somehow he's actually doing something. And if without him, if he was gone, then who's guarding f7? Then the bishop comes in, my queen can invade, and it'll be checkmate again. So it starts looking a little bit scary. Again, they have many, many threats. But if you think about it, this guy's not working, this guy's not castled, this guy's not working, this guy's not castled. Should this attack work? Probably not, right? They're just playing for tricks. They're playing for chip tricks. They're just hoping that we get mated and help them mate us. We're not going to do that. No, we want their attack to go away. And when they stop attacking, then they will be in trouble. All right. So now Rashid says, you know what? Okay, you want f7, you can have f7. You only have like 3 attackers left. And I have at least one defender, if you count the pawns, and the rook, and the bishop here, and the knight touching. So you don't have enough pieces to checkmate me. If you take me back, okay, then we're doing great. Then we just start kicking you, then we're just winning on the spot. And if you take f7, playing for cheap tricks again, it looks scary for the king, right? But good players don't panic. If we run away, we probably do get mated. And even if we don't get mated, it starts to look very scary. Now it actually is scary because all they have to do is get rid of our knight when it comes to f6, and it's going to be checkmate. So this I wouldn't recommend on my worst enemy, but what if we take? Now they only have 2 attackers. If they take with the knight, does nothing. I just go here and luff at their knight, who's basically trapped because check this out. All right, we have a skewer on the pawn and knight. For that reason, he decided to take with queen. We have to run away, no choice, and knight takes knight. Okay, if you count the material, they're doing pretty good. So white has an extra rook against our bishop. And how many pawns do we have? We have 7, they have 7. So it's actually an extra exchange. They just have an extra rook versus a bishop. That's the good news for white. What's the bad news? Do you see it? This is bad news. Back rank is bad news. No connected rook is bad news, right? And on top of that, I have the center. I have the full center after d5. All my pieces are coming out. Is bad news for them. The bishop pair will be bad news for them. The queen is awkward because it has no support anymore. I can kick it out whenever. Later on, let's say here and here, or here and here, it gets kicked out easy, and then it has to waste time saying, sorry, sorry, I'm gonna run back home, you'll never see me again. Okay, so we got all our pieces out, and they're catching up. That's the difference. So now we're attacking, not them. Watch how every single move comes with a threat. When we're attacking, we don't give them time to wake up. We keep them sleeping, right? So watch this. Attack, threat. This time it's c2. You have an extra rook? Not for long. Oh, you want to keep your extra rook? Why? Right? Even as he brings back the queen, he's not developing. And we're going to use that. Queen, you don't get to help. You get to stay there. I'll kick you out later. I'll take care of you later. Maybe with the rook, maybe with the bishop. I'll take care of you, and you're probably going to be trapped. But in the meantime, can I just fork you? Just a little fork. I hope you don't mind. Oh, you do mind. Oh, you want king d1. Oh, well, I guess you don't mind not castling because you saved the fork, but did you save your king? You did not. Next, we start trading. And this may seem like a weird move to a lot of people, right? Because why are we trading when we're out material? But we have such nice pieces that we don't even need material at such a point. Okay. After trading, the bishops are beautiful. These guys are not waking up easy, right? And on top of that, there is this annoying check that I want to show. Check. And now it may get really ugly for white because all of a sudden there's this amazing move, pawn takes. And next there may be this, there may be that. So that looks scary as well. We don't have to do it right away. Like maybe I'll take you first, but at some point check is a problem. And their light squares are leaking. They have no light square bishop to cover all the holes. Okay. For that reason, he did not trade. He tried to run away and said, Queen, Queen will cover the holes. And Queen tries to cover all the holes, but it's a little much, don't you think? Our Queen comes in and says, more threats, more threats. You don't have time to wake up. The counterattack is here. It has arrived. They try to get out of this mess. They try to attack the Queen. They say, you run away, and then I can play Bishop e3. Maybe? Maybe? No, because we still have the fork. Now, it's not a winning fork. It looks good. It's not exactly winning. Because if we take the queen, they take our queen. That is actually good for white. They managed to survive. Okay, we're not trading queens. We're taking stuff. In this case, we take their knight. And we'll see why later. Okay, their knight is free. Let's go take it. And they can take our bishop. After the trade, our knight is still super. Their rook connection is still awful, atrocious. Okay, so Rashid says, whoa, 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 here comes the counterattack. You still don't have time to wake up. Checkmate coming. I'm almost there. Knock, knock. I'm knocking at your door. You can't keep me out anymore. And white says, okay, fine. I'll stop mate. No mate for you. Okay? You can't mate me anymore. Just go away and let me take out my bishop and kick your knight out in peace. Oh, is that a free pawn? Thank you very much. Let's collect. And after the first pawn comes the help of the bishop. Suddenly the bishop's here, knight's here, queen's here, and they only have one defender. Don't forget about the rook, because the rook is coming in with force. He decided to take with check. I would have even played queen or rook check and then got the queen check later on. But okay, both ways are good. And after he collects the pawn, he gets more checks, more and more. He doesn't even need the rook anymore. He's having too much fun with the bishop and knight, because as it turns out, after this check, the king has no squares. Everything is taken. Okay, he tries to find a way. He said, well, maybe my pawn can help. Now it's time for the rook. Now the rook comes in, everyone to the party, and they never had the time. Rook f2 is close to being made, right? As well as bishop takes, by the way. In the actual game, he said, please catch my bishop. Give me time to block you. Give me time to do something. No, we don't care much for your bishop. We do care about your king. And this is where he resigned. Why? Because if he tried to go this way, the good news is we have the rook. That's why we needed it in the attack. Okay, king runs away, good game, checkmate. Okay, same thing if he runs away to h3, doesn't make a difference. We have to be a little bit careful and checkmate him with the rook here. Okay, beautiful counterattack by Black's forces. All because we didn't panic, we stayed calm, we didn't care about their cheap tricks. We could give away some ice cream just to repel their attack, kick them back, and then come after their undeveloped sleeping beauties.